this is a new episode of the Inspired Geeks podcast. You can now see our faces now. We're going to be posting on YouTube, more content coming soon. So I'm just saying, what's up?
What's poppin', everybody?
What up? What up?
Yeah, if y'all didn't know, y'all can tell now that we're all black guys. If you didn't know
Hmm.
already. So yeah, hopefully you're cool with that. But today we are going to be talking about another fun topic. We're going to be talking about some comic books that I picked up during quarantine that I just now got around to reading. I'm going to talk about a new Batman comic that came out like 2 weeks ago, Batman and Three Jokers. And then you know how we do. We can talk about any other news that we want to talk about, and just kind of go from there. So, we'll start with the comics. Y'all want me to go ahead and start first on the comics?
Yeah, you can pop it off, boss.
Okay, cool. So I have a couple of comics that I wanted to talk about. One is that uh, I'll start off with the Batman comic, Batman and Three Jokers. That is an intense comic book. I really enjoyed the writing, the art style. It's really great. But the premise is there are three Jokers. Well, there always have been three Jokers in a DC universe. So there's the
Mhm.
Joker that we know from the Killing Joke, the old school Joker from like the 60s TV show, and then the other Joker, which is more of the criminal mastermind Joker. So it's like there's no explanation in the comic book, but Batman and Red Hood and Batgirl go and try to check out what's going on with these three Jokers because he's killing a bunch of people in Gotham. And Batman's like, this is weird. Like, I know the Joker, but his personality is different for each murder. And like, everyone is like, what's going on? And Batman's like, he's totally different in this comic. And in the end, I want people to actually read it, but the huge twist at the end is something that I gotta talk about. They actually kill the Joker that we know, the playful Joker, I guess you can call the Arkham Asylum one. Red Hood shoots him point blank in the head, and that's how the comic book ends. So I'm like, that's the first time I actually seen like a Joker that's like dead now.
Damn.
And it just raises a lot of questions about, the comics that we've been reading, the games that we've been playing. Like, what if there has been like three Jokers all along? Like, it explains so much about the different crimes that he's committed in different comic books, how he varies from each issue to issue. Like,
Mhm.
we always think like, okay, the Joker's crazy, so we can just pass it off as his personality. But like, it just raised so many questions for me, and the art style was so good, and the mystery surrounding like the three Jokers and their motives in this issue was just spot on. So highly recommend it. I know I spoiled the ending, but it's still worth the read just to get caught up with Batman, Red Hood, Batgirl, to see them working together again. Really great stuff. I'm excited for issue 2 and beyond. Um
Got you.
yeah,
Batman, the three Jokers, you said.
Batman and Three Jokers. That is in comic book stores right now, but it's been out for like a couple of weeks or so.
Uh,
And then to stay on the Batman theme, I also want to recommend the Batman Who Laughs trilogy. Like, well, that whole saga. Like, if you have not read that, like we were talking before we started recording, that is one of the darkest Batman comics that I've ever read, just because of how twisted and demented the Joker and that hybrid of Bruce Wayne and the Joker. Like,
Mhm.
that's scary, man. Like, I was telling Chris on his podcast, like in the very first issue, after he turns into the, Batman Who Laughs, he kills the entire Justice League like that. Like, like, who does that other than Batman? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
mhm.
it's crazy. And then the way that he turned Gordon, he pushed him to the limits. He pushed Batman to the limits, and Batman is the ultimate tactician in the whole DC universe. So that is just a crazy issue as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then I went back to, now I'm going to transition over to my Marvel stuff that I was reading. So I got caught up on the new Infinity storyline with Marvel, with Thanos is back again. That's pretty cool. And I really thought about the fact that they didn't introduce Lady Death in the MCU, which I really wish they would have in
Hmm.
the because it explains more about Thanos's motives. Like in this story, he's really trying to impress Lady Death, and that's his whole reason for going for the Infinity Stones and all that stuff. So, and we get a lot of fun cameos from like Adam Warlock again. So it's basically kind of like an updated Infinity Saga story from back in the day, but way cooler with more characters from the MCU integrated into that. So that's pretty cool. I'll stop for now, and then I'll come back towards the end and talk about a couple of other ones that I had, and kind of let y'all go from here.
Wait,
Well, just to piggyback off of what Will was talking about, the Batman Who Laughs trilogy, I started that,
mm,
and I definitely need to jump back in through and finish it out because I'm all about the dark elements of comic books and movies and just any storyline in general when they just push the limit to just how far some of the more psychopathic characters are, like the Joker. It's like, all right, how crazy can we make him? How dangerous can we make this person? Let's fuse him with Batman. It's like, okay, now he's unstoppable. He's half Joker, half Batman in the same one embodiment. Like that storyline itself is just outlandish as hell, but it works and it's fantastic. And just like Will was saying, it's the first 15 pages I want to say where he kills the whole family. Like I think page like 3 or 4, it's like he turns around and kills like Robin, Batgirl, and all of them. I was like, wait.
Yeah, right off the bat. Yeah,
Off bat, like he's at the computer, he's like, oh, I found something. Whoop. Gat. I was like, yo, what are we doing right now? Page 3. I was already hooked off of that. But uh disclaimer for me, I don't have a lot of comic knowledge. Like I want to get into them more, but the few I have read, I keep rereading. Like there's some those are like my favorite comics in the world so far because my library is so vast. But I have my top 3 recurring comics that always come back in my like reading list, and that's Old Man Logan, the Kick-Ass series, and what's my number 3? It was on the tip of my tongue. It's either I don't want to take JoJo because I feel like his might be the same, so I'm gonna stay away from the Hulk comics. But those two are up there. But Old Man Logan definitely in the Kick-Ass series. Oh, Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
oh yeah.
yeah,
That's that's up there for me
Uh,
because it's just taking exactly. It's just taking the cartoon fourth wall breaking side of like Deadpool and just
yeah.
let me just go through all the everybody's in the same dimension now, and I'm just killing through everybody. And like, not to spoil it, but I'm about to spoil it. But like at the end, he like kills his writers, and he like turns around and like kills the audience, kills the reader. It's amazing. It's just pure Deadpool, and just it's one of my go tos whenever I feel like just reading through something. One more that's not on this in the superhero space, DC or Marvel, is a Archie comic book, and I'm a huge horror buff, and it's an Archie comic where Jughead is a werewolf, and the premise is wild. And I've never seen. I used to read like the Archie comics, like you see them in grocery stores all the time, like Veronica, Betty, everybody, like Jughead. But like they took like this random spin on it, and it's just like a dark storyline. The characters are their usual quirky selves, and then there's a dark turn, just like huge cryptic turn where it's just a gore fest and like a whole slasher. And I'm like, what's going on right now? I was like, I thought it was about to be about like teen love and relationships or whatnot. They're like, nah, not today. It's like this is an image comic verse or something. I loved it. But those are usually my top 2 comics, and like I'm trying to get back into it. But like as Will was saying before we start recording, there's so many different dimensions, there's so many different reboots. Like I don't know where exactly to start and to be like, okay, this is a good dimension because I know X-Men's been through a couple reboots where it's like, do I want to jump in the Unlimited? Do I want to jump in the X-Men versus Avengers? It's like, where do I want to begin? Because I know I have a lot of favorites. I want to read through the Phoenix saga. I want to read through the Emma Frost. I love her for some reason. I want to learn more about Gambit. Like, there's so many iconic storylines, but I just don't know where to start and which one should I like. Which dimension should I begin before I'm really like, oh wait, you read that one? Oh, you're supposed to read this one first. It's like, oh damn, I didn't
yeah.
mean to spoil a whole series before I started. But yeah, those are my top 2.
Cool.
Hmm. So with me, Me personally, I like the very like dark kind of comics. Um, but but I'm gonna just start from. I'll start from Marvel Zombies. So Marvel Zombies was one of the top ones that I've read in high school because I actually had a friend who actually lives down the street from me who talked about that stuff religiously. And he was like, y'all are missing out. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, and I looked into it and I was like, yo, I was like, there's zombie versions of all these characters. And then further going into it, I realized that it was an alternate dimension. So it's just a planet where all the superheroes are just zombies specifically. But it actually gets a lot deeper. I don't want to go into spoilers and stuff, but it gets wild because you got regular zombies, Marvel zombies, then you got the regular superheroes from alternate dimensions, and then like the dimensions, the dimensions get intertwined and all that, and it's wild. It's wild. Um, but kind of similar to Marvel zombies is DC Deceased. That was tough too. And that the premise is basically Cyborg is being tortured on Apocalypse, and the excuse me, the Justice League are basically fighting off, um, you know, the forces on Earth. And basically, what happens is, so there's this thing called the anti-life equation, and apparently it's been affected in Cyborg's like internal mechanics or something like that, and he escapes that planet, and then he gets placed back onto Earth. And what happens is like there is a sort of like reaction, so that it's like a virus basically that gets instilled in technology, so like your phone's computer, stuff like that, and basically everybody is affected by it, and everybody turns into like these like zombie like state, you know, and just goes off, kind of similar to Marvel Zombies in a sense, but it's kind of darker to me in DC Deceased because I read the first I think like 10 pages, and the look on Cyborg's face when he was like, "Bro, it's already too late. Like I can't reverse this," and it's just widespread. Everybody gets affected, and I'm just like, "Dang!" Like just imagine, like if we lived in a time where superheroes existed in our day and age, and it just so happens that I got to look on my phone. It's an everyday thing that I look at. You know, we watch TV all the time, and it's just like you just automatically just get infected by just by looking at your phone. So
Yeah.
it's just like everybody's affected. You can't do anything else. Um, but yeah, those two are probably one of my favorites too. But my all-time favorite of all time, well, you probably know what this
Yeah.
Mm.
is World War Hulk.
Yo,
By
Yeah.
far, by far, bro. Like
Yeah.
I actually have the prologue, and I have the first issue. Yeah, I have the first issue. So I have the prologue and the first issue. Um, and bruh, this is what I was hoping for from Marvel. I was like, bruh, like cinematic universe, like you guys have the the ultimate pedestal to basically go ahead and greenlight this. Like, come on, this is the perfect time to do it. But I understand the way that they did it and everything, um, with Ragnarok and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we get a little taste and whatnot, but I want the
Look,
full effect. Like I want everything
say,
because this story was insane, like insane. Like literally, this dude comes back and basically beats the living crap out of the entire Marvel universe.
yeah.
Nah, you getting dusted off, you getting dusted off, you getting dusted off, like all y'all. But first, I'm gonna go for Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Mr. Fantastic. Y'all getting shut down real quick. But I always tell people about this too because my favorite fight in World War Hulk is Hulk versus Century. That fight, bro. When I tell you, I literally got goosebumps looking at that fight or just reading on that fight, bro. I lost it because um, they're basically on the same power level, and we're talking about like World Breaker Hulk, like on a power scale of like, yeah, he's pretty much gonna beat anybody up. Like you cannot match him. So you got him versus Sentry, which is basically the equivalent of Superman. So he's Marvel's Superman basically, and they just beat the crap out of each other until they both beat each other out of their own power levels. So it's kind of like how Goku would face um, like Frieza or some other being that's stronger than him, and he gets beaten down back to his original form. Like
Yeah.
what? Like he beats Hulk so bad that he goes back to being Bruce Banner. Are you kidding me? And Sentry too. It's just like, bro, like this is crazy. Like I love this comic. Like I love it. I love it. And I'm glad I picked it up because I'm gonna start um collecting those. I think there's five issues. So I got four more to go on top of the prologue that I already have. But I also bought one that's called Hulk and Wolverine 6 Hours.
Mm-hmm.
So the premise behind that one is basically the Hulk and Wolverine have 6 hours to save this woman and child from drug dealers. Like I haven't finished that yet. I just got started on that one, but it seems pretty interesting. But um, I don't know. I feel like I need to get more into comics because comics are the basic foundation for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe too.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, comics are very important, man. And they don't take that long to read either.
No,
Like
they don't.
I could
They
go through a whole series in a day. You know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like that's why I try to visit our local comic book shops as much as I can because I would hate for them to go out of business during our current situation with COVID. So I try to pick up, even though comics can, if you're like me, where I go in and pick up like 6, 7 issues, and then I'd be like paying like $30, it can add up. But
And they're only like $5 an issue. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, and then
It's crazy.
so, I mean, even if you do what I do sometimes, which is I wait like a year for like the entire storyline to come out into like a graphic novel form and just pick it up at Barnes and Noble, that's cool too. Like, just support comics, y'all. But yeah, like you said, very important that if you're into pop culture and Marvel and DC, like you should definitely try to start reading the comics because a lot of the movies and TV shows are pulling from that now. So you can be kind of like one of the cool kids and be like, oh, I know what that is. So yeah. But like I was saying, and Willie talked about it too. The other comics that I really got back into was Kick Ass. Like I
Mm.
loved the movie back in 2010. Wow, 10 years ago. Um and I I gotta say I enjoyed the movie more than I enjoyed the comic books. Like the comic books are a lot a lot more mature, I guess is what you is what I to put it lightly. It's some stuff in there that I'm like, whoa, like people get killed in pretty brutal ways, and there's some really you know, like I'm like, is this an R-rated movie? What is this? So but I really enjoy Mark Miller's take on Kick Ass, and I also was reading some old school X-Men comics, like, and I really, really want to see this coming up soon. Omega Red. I don't know if y'all familiar
Oh
with him.
yes.
Yeah.
I was reading an X-Men comic where he was like first introduced, and I was like, it took 6 X-Men to take him down. He's like almost an Avengers level
Oh,
threat. So I'm like, I really would love to see him in the next MCU movie because he's just an awesome character, and I feel like him and Wolverine clashing or him and the X-Men clashing, man, that was dope in that comic that I read. I
yeah.
forget the title, but it's like an older X-Men comic book. Really dope. But I heard that he was actually in Deadpool 2, the movie, and I'm like in an uncredited role. They said in the jail scene he was in it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah. I read up on that too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so I that's just a random thought, but like I would really love that. And then I was reading the Spider Geddon comic books where they brought all the Spider-Man back from uh even introduced the PS4 Spider-Man into the comics, which I thought was really dope.
Wow,
Yeah. So he's like official canon now in the Marvel comic book.
that's nuts.
Yeah, that's really cool. And they said that from what I read towards the end of the issue, Spider Geddon #1, is that what happened in this comics is also going to affect the game. So where they left off is he'll have the experience of interacting with all the other Spider-Man and being in that universe, and they're going to bring in some villains that are fairly new into the game. So I'm really hyped about that. So like Mr. Negative was pretty, he was a pretty new villain. So,
Right.
we'll see more of that going forward.
Mm.
Oh, I love
That's
that incorporation of video game and comic book and that cross dimensional thing. That's dope.
Yeah, it
yeah.
really is. It really is dope. And then Miles also has a little bit of a story arc in that, which I feel like it ties into the game that's coming out for PS4 and PS5. So because in Spider Geddon, the PS4's Peter Parker gets sucked into another dimension. That explains why Miles is like Spider-Man into the game. So
Mm.
why Peter Parker isn't around, he's the new Spider-Man of New York. So that kind of really ties it together well, in my opinion.
This is very interesting.
Yeah,
It's very
Big
interesting.
That's
yeah,
news to me.
Wow. It's tough.
yeah. I'm excited for that too. And
Yeah.
then what else did I read? Oh, I reread Scott Pilgrim for like the fifth or sixth time. So y'all already know our passion about that.
Good read right there all the way through. I need it. That's a good idea. Since the Greenmaster's coming back out, I need to jump back on that, read through it, get the lore back on point.
Yeah, like it's a lot of stuff like that they cut that's so different from the movie. Like the ending, of course, is very different from
Hmm.
the manga. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
highly recommend reading that if you guys haven't.
I
Uh,
did also need to read Brian O'Malley's Worst Worlds too.
yeah,
Uh,
Worship Worlds. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. um, what else? What else have I read recently? I thought was really really awesome. There's so many. Like I'll probably have to put like a social media post to show you my huge comic book collection that I have. So it's like,
Hey, like
you know,
Will when I
all
grow up, dog.
yeah, I'm saving them because I'm like I feel like some of them might be worth some cash. Oh, another X-Men comic that I read that was really awesome. I haven't read it in a couple of years. The issue where Wolverine is fighting Magneto and he rips the adamantium out of his bones, and that's like the
Yeah,
cover art. That issue, I forgot how dope that issue was. It came out in '93, and I think they did an episode about it on the cartoon too. That was really dope. Like I
man.
forget that like Wolverine, he gets whooped up by Magneto a lot, and
That's one villain he cannot defeat, bro.
no, he can't.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way his powers work.
Yeah. And I think that's why in all the X-Men movies, whenever they came to an encounter, like he would always be like, "You never learn."
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Pounce to that man every waking moment. I'm like, he's just
Mhm.
gonna toss your ass. Don't do it, dog.
Mm.
Yeah, and then Hulk versus Wolverine. That's always a classic too.
Oh,
Um,
fucking Thor
Mm.
too.
yeah, Hulk and Thor, their long-standing rivalry that's touched upon in the movie too.
Thor is up there. You're right. There's this one. Well, you might know it. It was actually my first comic book purchase. I don't remember the title,
Hmm.
but it's a Spider-Man comic book,
Hmm.
and it's when it might be. I think it's Craven's Last Hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That was my first comic book, and I've never seen Spider-Man in that light before. So like I think I was maybe like 15. So like my young tail reading through this, I'm just so used to the 90s animated Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So this is some dark Craven. Like I don't want to spoil any of it because it's a classic, and if you don't know the storyline, definitely read through because page for page it's enthralling. But Spider-Man has the symbiote suit. He wears it throughout the comic, and it's this battle with him and Craven. And I believe that what's that one Spider-Man villain? He lives in the sewers.
Oh,
Vermin.
not. not lizard, but
Not lizard, but like he looks like a rat.
uh, shoot, I think it's Mole Man.
Mole Man, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He looks like a feral like beast. He's in the comic too, but if you want to see a dark Craven storyline, definitely read that comic book, man. It just dawned on me. I was like, well, like Spider Man. I was like, what was my first comic book? I was like, oh, Craven's Last Hunt. Yo, it's spooky season, so if you want to get a little creeped out, you know what I mean, before bed, definitely read through that sometime. Like it's up there for my. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about that. That just brought me back. I'm gonna have to read through that. And Marvel Zombies, since it's October, that was a good choice too. I definitely want to jump on DC Deceased.
Yeah, DC
I see.
yeah,
Season.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There was one other one, but it'll come back to me later on. But yeah, I definitely got some research to do when it comes to these comic books. I got nothing but
Yeah.
free time, so I might as well, honestly.
I want to go through that Infinity Saga. That's what I
yeah,
want.
yeah.
Mm,
That's really it's a good. It's two now. Like it's the old school one, and then the new one that I'm still reading. The Infinity. Yeah, it's called Infinity, just Infinity. And it's still
Yeah.
kind of based around Thanos chasing the Infinity Stones around, but
Mhm.
it really focuses more on characters like that aren't typically featured in mainstream media. A lot of like unknown characters. Spotlight on Fantastic Four, which I really enjoy. They don't get enough love in the comic books as well as the movies. I don't know
Yeah.
why. So, but I heard they are coming back with a new Fantastic Four comic book pretty soon. So I'm like, I will be picking that up ASAP.
Yeah.
Because I always, yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention too, since it's October and y'all kind of brought it to my attention, the Blade comics. If y'all have never read those and you've only seen the movies, you're gonna be in for a shock because Blade doesn't really have the same powers that he has in the movies. Like he's more or less a regular dude with like super strength. Like he doesn't have like the day walking stuff that they do in the movies. So I was shocked when I read it and I was like, wait, what? A couple of years ago. And I was
Mm.
like, wait, the movies lied? Like
hey, yo, wait, Blade can't walk in the sun?
like he is like a half vampire, but like he doesn't really have like the same like powers and move sets that like Wesley Snipes has.
Oh.
Like he's not really like I think what is he doesn't really have he has the bloodlust thing, but like he's not like OP powered full or like yeah, he's not really a daywalker in the comic books for real, for real. Like that's kind of an exaggeration. So
That's bananas.
I mean, I kind of like his powers in the movies more than the comic books, to be honest.
Honestly, I see why, man. That's a
Yeah,
shock.
he's still cool in the comic books. He's still a vampire, but I think they kind of introduced his powers from the movies later on because everyone was like, "Oh, he's kind of lame." Because like originally he's just a regular, almost a regular dude. So it's like
Yeah.
Mm.
just with like a little bit of super strength and something else. But yeah, but
You
he
know what?
is still half black, so I'm like I'm still down. So
Hey, there you go. That's something. But you know, that makes a lot of sense because I remember when he made his cameo in the Spider-Man animated series, he
hmm
didn't really showcase anything amazing or extravagant to be like a superhero. You feel me? So like,
hmm
I was wondering about that because it's like I don't know what we were doing watching the Blade movie so young, first and foremost. But
yeah.
I remember trying to make that distinction. I was like, why isn't he like going to town on these villains in this show right now? I was like, Blade, what's really going on? So that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it was just more in tune with the comic origins. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I've been
remember
lied to
watching
my
that.
whole life. I'm sick right now. That's wild to me, bro.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
Blade. The first time I ever watched it was while I was sitting waiting to get my hair cut. They had it on in the barbershop. And I was just
Hey,
like, what is this? And apparently my parents own the VHS. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm gonna watch this. And I was just like, yo, Blade. And then I found out like later on that Blade was an actual Marvel character. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Wow. So basically Blade's been the first Marvel superhero to ever hit theaters. Basically.
Yeah. You're right.
yeah, he's been holding it down, man. But yeah, I remember coming up with that late revelation too. Like late in the game for me. I said, Blade is Marvel. All that blood? Nah, y'all
Yeah.
lying to me. Stop playing.
Yeah. Likewise, like I was like 11 or so when I first saw it too. And then I saw at the end of the credits like Stan Lee and Marvel. I was like, what's that? And then I looked it up. I was like, wait, Blade is a Marvel character, like with Spider-Man and stuff? They were like, yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then, then of course we saw the 90s cartoon, but like he was toned down, way, way down for the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but that was just something funny. Like when I read it a couple of years, and I was like, Blade isn't as cool as his movie counterpart. So I was like, oh. But I'm sure the new movie with Marshall Ali is gonna be dope. So
Mhm.
I'm
Oh, I
still
can't
I'm
wait for
still
that.
hyped. Yeah.
I was like, bring back Wesley Snipes. I'm like, I understand, but Wesley Snipes is kind of old, so
Yeah, he's gotta be at least about in the 50s, could pushing 60 about now, ain't he?
Yeah, easily. I hope he makes a cameo. I would love that.
Yeah, he's still in good shape though. Like he could probably do a cameo or something.
I
Like
would say cast him as Blade's mentor.
oh
Whistler? Is it Whistler? I forget his
yeah,
name.
Yeah, what's
Whistler, and
Whistler.
yeah.
yeah.
That'd be dope.
I mean, I guess if they would be okay with, I mean, some fanboys always have take issue with like the race swap and all that other stuff, but
Always.
It'd be all right.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, I'll be down for it. But yeah, that would,
yeah, yeah. So
would they have to get the rights for that movie for him to use like Wesley Snipes in that movie? Because were the Blade movies Marvel movies per se or Sony? Like, it's one of
So I think they were all made by, was it Cinema?
they were under a different banner. So Marvel, because the Marvel MCU didn't exist back in
right.
'98, so they just were like in association with Marvel, but they were through. Was it who made those? Was it?
Was
It
it
was
Miramax, right?
Miramax or Cine.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
Serious.
it was John Wright. It's Cine. It's
Like the
something.
Storm or something. I think I see what y'all are talking about. It's that old school logo that comes on the majority of the movies coming up.
Yeah, back in the day, it's Cine something.
New
Cine.
Line Cinema. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
New
New
Line,
Line Cinema.
New
Yeah,
Line, yeah. New
New
Line was,
Line
oh
Cinema.
God, New Line was killing it back then.
Yeah. I knew it was. I was like, it's cinema something. So yeah, New Line Cinema. They did a lot of movies back in the '90s. Rush Hour is under them too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
So I had one more comment that is highly relevant right now, actually,
Hmm.
to the show that's going on. It was The Boys.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually read through it completely or anything, but this is when I went to Trilogy, which is in Virginia Beach, when I got these comics. And I just stopped and I saw it and I was just like, let me pick this up real quick. So I started going through like the first like maybe like 30 pages or something like that. Bro, when I tell you that comic is completely different. Not completely different, but it's completely different in some aspects of some scenes in the Boys TV show. Oh my gosh. And like it's just heavily grotesque. And I'm just like, what? Like it's crazy. Um like the part about when when Starlight gets hired and dude over here trying to get some,
Yeah.
and in the comics it's the whole squad, like all the dudes. Is crazy. And also in the beginning where Huey loses his girlfriend Robin, they're actually in, I think, at a carnival
Hmm.
or something when she dies, and not in the street or something like that. But yeah, that comic is crazy, and I've been doing some research on the backgrounds of some of the characters, like Stormfront, and Stormfront is basically like an association between um, a white supremacist
Yeah.
organization, and I was like, wow, this is deep. They really went deep for this comic.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's some comics that can like you were saying, like the boys comic that I was a little bit shocked too, and I read a little bit of it. I haven't read through the whole thing. Like I'm trying to get more familiar with it because of the show and everything. But yeah, I agree with your points. Like it's I think that's a thing that a lot of people forget is that comics aren't just for kids. Like a lot of them contain a lot of like relevant storylines and mature themes that can really resonate with people too. So
Yeah.
It's a fact.
because yeah, like take for example Watchmen. Like I read that in college, and like I did a whole essay on that. I did well too, but like the themes that that
Hey,
talks about, yeah, like that comic book was like that blew my mind when I first read it because like even my professor was like going to like this deep long lecture about all the themes and the stuff that they talked about in it, like with Rorschach and the comedian and all these other people, and I was like, dang, this is a deep comic book. Like if a professor can go, an hour and a half and talk about it and give all these deep thoughts about it. So that's pretty cool to me.
Hmm.
definitely. One thing I think y'all both also touched on was I always enjoy how comic books and even in the anime world with manga comics are always just so much more unfiltered and raw than the TV adaptations or the movie adaptations, which I
Yeah.
understand it's like they got to go through hurdles and hurdles with the censorship boards to even put half the things they want to in their movies through comic books. But
Hmm.
it's just like they can do whatever they want in comic books, just like the dark themes and just kick ass, for example, that we didn't even want to touch on because they could not put that in any movie.
No.
It'd have to be NC-17 if they even attempted to. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
as to Will's point, also they I feel like they had to make Kick-Ass much more lighthearted than they did in the comic book
Yeah.
because you're definitely right. There's some depressing Last of Us 2 type mess in that whole storyline. Like each series of Kick-Ass, like you would not enjoy the MF the mother effer as much as you do in the in the movie and
Yeah.
the comics because he is just a demon in that comic book. There's
Yeah.
nothing likable about him in that whole comic book series. I was like, oh, wait, what happened to the funny character? What happened to like
Yeah.
McLovin? I thought this was nah,
No, no.
two totally different
No.
characters. And with Old Man Logan too, just like I feel like I have such a strong bias when it comes to the Logan film. I mean, everybody thought it was amazing, which it was. There's no arguing that, but I loved all the elements they pulled from Old Man Logan because that's another depressing book, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
there's
Very.
amazing action sequences and the storyline is A1 top tier, but the origin of what happened, like the Xavier thing that happened in Logan is much more lighthearted than what happens in the Logan story. I mean, Old Man
Yeah.
Logan,
Yeah.
10 times. And I just remember being on the edge of my seat during the Logan movies. I was like, yo, I wonder. Nah, okay, they did something else. Whoo, because I was there. They're not gonna flashback. They're not gonna show. Oh, they didn't. He did it instead. Okay, bet. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a depressing story, like Old Man Logan. And
Killing
I think,
Fire X-Men, man.
yeah.
I'm like, dang.
It was deep.
I
Oh,
mean, the levels of disrespect, like Marvel, like I take issue with I love Marvel, but my one criticism is like they give no respect to the X-Men in current comic books at all. Like
Mhm.
hmm.
they're trying to erase them with the Inhumans, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work with a lot of fans, myself included. Like the humans are cool, but I mean, we like the OG X-Men. Come on, you can't wipe out the whole mutant gene and replace it with the whole Inhuman stuff. Like that
Mhm.
just
Oh,
yeah.
nah. Is
Kind of
that
like what
real?
they did with the game, but with the new Avengers game, that's
Yeah.
basically the comics, yeah. So
Oh, chill, dog. Nah.
yeah, so like y'all just gonna ignore mutants now? Like what?
I'm blown off that. That's like the MCU route because we don't own the term mutant.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's I'm sick.
Yeah, like the X Men have been through the ringer in the comics. Like their population is low, because of the whole battle with the Avengers and this disease, the Inhuman disease. So it's like it's in bad shape. But I heard they're rebooting it because like fans are like protesting, like we want the OG X Men back. So they're rebooting the whole Marvel cinematic, not the cinematic, but the comic book universe in like a couple of weeks or early next year. So yeah,
Word.
What
Yeah.
what's the comic, the one where Magneto is like he's wearing his all white suit and Charles is wearing his helmet and it's
Hmm.
got the X on it. You know which one that is?
You talking about? I think you talking about House of. You talking about House of M?
Is it House of M?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
I've been
With
meaning to read that one too.
with his white suit and help. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely House of M. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's actually walking. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, I
got
need to get hip to that one too.
Yeah. That's a good one too. And that also kind of ties into another random thought that I wanted to mention real quick. The whole Wanda Vision TV show.
Mm.
She kind of can manipulate the reality, so I feel like that's what they're gonna do in the MCU to kind of explain the different, hopefully, Spider-Man that are coming, because we got word that Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming to the MCU, and there are heavy rumors that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are also going to be in Spider-Man 3 to kind of introduce this whole multiverse thing. So I'm
Hey,
hyped for all that.
it.
hey man, these rumors better be fact soon because that you already see me whole ear to ear right here cheesing off of that news. Like this is a rumor and I'm already hyped. Like any news with Tobey Maguire reprising his Spider-Man role, come on, dog. That's my childhood. I need that.
Yeah. Yeah, with Doctor Strange too, the whole multiverse thing is like really heavy, and I'm like, now with them confirming that, I'm thinking it might be true. I'm just waiting for the announcement to kind of go wow. So
Yeah.
like so,
And I remember they also announced that Kang the Conqueror is going to be in Ant-Man 3. And
right,
I was actually on Twitter and I was talking to somebody about that, and they were just like, because I wasn't all for it because I see Kang the Conqueror as somebody more like, on like a Thanos level, not
yeah,
completely on Thanos's level, but he's kind of below Thanos a little bit.
yeah,
Um, so I was expecting him to be in an actual Avengers movie, but somebody was like, the guy that I was talking to, he said that basically, um, they put him in Ant-Man for a reason and Kang is actually going to be black in the movie, and it's what's it? Is it what's his name? He's related to Reed Richards. Um, I think it's his son or something like that, but
talking
it's
about
his son from a different.
Franklin.
Yeah, Franklin, but Franklin from a different timeline, like older Franklin.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So what they were saying was basically they're going to be introducing the Young Avengers, something like that. Because I know in the WandaVision series, they're going to be introducing their sons as well. So
yeah,
it kind of makes sense, you know.
true.
We'll see what happens with that.
Word up.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like all the shows and all the news, like Flashpoint, the movie. We got all the previous Batmans coming back, and another rumor is that Christian Bale is going to be in that too. So all
Mm.
the previous Batmans, that'll be cool.
Hmm.
Hey,
And that comic is also like still one of the best DC comics in my opinion. Like if anybody hasn't read Flashpoint, definitely worth reading that or
That one
watching the movie.
and the Dark Knight Returns for me too.
Yeah,
That's tough.
and Year One and Killing Joke.
yo, Batman got some hits, man.
He does.
Oh, and the Long Halloween.
I
Who?
need to get hip to the long
Long
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah,
Halloween.
Tis the season, man. See, Will got other comic book knowledge.
yeah,
About to blow up his phone. I'm about to be like, yo, I need a comic book by the every hour by the hour.
yeah, yeah. So, I think I kind of touched upon all of the comics that I wanted to talk about. Um, any other news that y'all wanted to talk about? It can be anything, PS5, movie related.
They actually announced the the person who's going to be playing Kamala Khan.
Right? Yeah, she
Yo,
actually looks like her too.
Yeah, I
she
think her name
does
is
look smack.
Aman Vellani. Vellani.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good for her. Salute. Bring some color to the MCU, bro.
Oh,
We
Yeah,
need that.
absolutely.
Yeah. I've been waiting on that.
Exactly.
We need more diversity.
Yeah, because who we got? We got Falcon, Black Panther. Well, sadly, I
Damn.
guess we got Shuri, and everybody else in Wakanda. Sadly, we missing our boy Chadwick.
Hmm.
Uh, that's about who else? Oh, Rhodey, but he's probably gone too.
Hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, we definitely need some more color in the MCU.
Oh, Mantis.
Mantis. Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, we got Mantis.
Mhm.
Mantis.
Who else? Samuel Jackson, of course.
Oh yeah, right. Samuel, Nick Fury, who they announced is gonna have a show on Disney Plus this week too. Nick
Oh
Fury
yeah.
show.
Really?
Yeah.
Samuel's in the bag, dog. This is
What?
insane.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, come
Yeah.
on.
It is gonna be some kind of show of revolving around Nick Fury because at the end of Captain Marvel, he was in space somewhere, and
Hmm.
like they never followed up on that. So
Yeah.
I figure he'll probably appear in Captain Marvel 2 or on his own show or something like that.
Oh,
Mm.
also, is it Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi
Yeah,
and
Shang-Chi.
the Ten Rings.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because a lot of people when Iron Man 3 came out were mad about the Mandarin not being the real Mandarin in that movie. Which
Bruh, I was heavily disappointed. I watched that by myself.
hmm
'Cause my parents went to go see another movie. I was like, nah, I'm going to see Iron Man 3. And when I tell you, when I found out that he was fake, I was like, that doesn't sit right with me. It's
yeah.
like you're telling me that you're just paying this guy just to act like the Mandarin, but he's not actually the Mandarin, and the Mandarin is actually white. Like,
yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Come on, that's not right.
Yeah. My opinions.
I was so
True.
shook.
I was a little hurt because the dude that played him did such a good job with like before it was revealed that he was just an actor, but like he was
Yeah.
like threatening and like dope from the trailers and everything. What was his name? Ben Kingsley, but then they had to retcon it because like so many people were like pissed and was like, we need the real Mandarin. So like in one of the one shots, they were like, well, the real Mandarin is out there somewhere. So years
Yeah.
later, they're following up on that finally.
Hmm.
So
What's his name? What's the name of the dragon too?
shoot.
I forgot his name.
Uh,
Gosh.
gosh, it's Shang's not Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
It was. I'm thinking about Mortal Kombat. I'm thinking about Mortal Kombat and stuff. It's something like that. It's something similar to Shang something.
Yeah, but I know he has like an affiliation with the Mandarin.
Yeah.
So I remember playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the old Marvel
PS2.
Ultimate Alliance. Yeah.
In the bag, dog.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, who is this? I was like, I'm facing a dragon. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for everything that's going to happen from here on out, man. Um, of course, we gotta wait until next year, but
Yeah.
we're gonna be kicking it off with Black Widow first, of course,
Yeah.
and
I'm
then the
super
Eternals
excited for that. Yeah.
following.
It's been a long time coming, y'all.
Doesn't even
Yeah.
feel like it. Like looks like it's only been a couple of months, but it's already been like almost a whole year.
I know. Like we're in October right now, and there's no Marvel movies, no nothing coming out for the rest of the year.
Mm-mm.
So,
And I
oh,
wonder how what's that name? That movie where was it New Mutants? Yeah.
New Mutants, right? Yeah, my friends told me about that, so I'm like, I'll wait to let that come out. They said it ain't that good.
You heard it first.
Yeah, I mean, listeners, if y'all seen it, let us know or something. Post in the comments on Facebook or hit us up on Twitter. If you got a different opinion on that, but from what I heard, it's not very good.
Mm.
Oh, well, we do have a one show. Wanda Vision is coming out this year. I forgot
It
on
is.
Disney Plus. Yeah. I think is it November, December? They said this year because the trailer just dropped. What was it last week? Week for last?
Yeah, I need to see that. I seen the
I didn't.
thumbnail, but I forgot to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is coming out this year. So yeah, that's the only Marvel show that's coming out.
Oh yeah, it comes out in December.
Okay, cool.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Um, that's basically all that I had. Other than that, did y'all have anything else?
That's it for
Hmm.
me.
Mm, y'all keep it with your orders, with your pre-orders, because I don't know where mine's at. I have no idea, bro. Amazon was like, "We're sorry, we don't know if you're gonna get yours in time." Like, just be vigilant with that because you don't want to lose out on that on your pre-orders. Because I know
Right.
Xbox did theirs last week. My brother was having the hardest time trying to get an Xbox, but he got one. Shout
There
out
you
to him.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they are limited qualities. I got very, very lucky with my PS5 a couple of weeks ago. I know the Xbox is very limited. Like I heard GameStop only got like seven or eight, like less than the PS5s last Friday. So
Hmm.
sorry for all you Xbox fans that were looking for that, but you can try to win one from Taco Bell if you buy a medium drink. I saw the commercial. Like those are legit too. Like my friend won an Xbox One X when that came out from Taco Bell.
Hmm.
So it's legit. So that might be a good way to get it for free.
Yeah, salute that man. That's a lot of medium drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he entered on the website where they say you can enter for free. So he just did it like every day. And he just
Dang.
randomly got an email saying, "Congratulations, you won an Xbox One X."
Yo, what are the odds?
I think it's like they only giving away 4,000 Series X's, so out of
Hmm.
everybody in the United States, so it's not too good.
Pretty
Unless
much.
you go to Taco Bell every day or something, your chances are better, but that's not healthy, so don't do that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about one more comic too. It's the Cosmic Ghost Rider. That one's tough too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's with Frank Castle, and he's basically the Ghost Rider, and he's carrying baby Thanos around. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to kill Thanos, but Ghost Rider's like, nah, I'm on a mission and trying to get him out of here. Cause I think he's on like a mission to get him somewhere or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was tough too.
Yeah. I feel like we should get was he on Agents of Shield? Like the second version, not the original Johnny Blaze, but the it's like multiple Ghost Riders, and one of them was on Agents of Shield at
Mm-hmm.
one point, so that was pretty cool.
Mm.
I
But
heard
yeah,
about that.
Nick Cage, his movies not good. Like the Ghost Rider movies, like I remember going to the theater for the first one, and I was like, it's okay. I give it a 6 out of 10. Like it was okay. The second one was just like I don't even know I don't know why I went to go see it in the first place, but it was bad. Like I almost walked out of that movie like a couple of times. Like I went to the bathroom and I was like, should I go back and finish? I was like, I'll finish. I already paid the $10 to see this. I'll just go back and finish it. uh, well, yeah. That's about it for this episode. Unless we got any other last comments.
Nah,
I'm good.
We good?
Yeah.
Cool.
ways.
All right, listeners. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been fun as always. We will be producing more content. We got our boy Chris in San Diego promoting us. We'll probably do another collab with him. And we got a new special guest coming soon who worked with Blizzard, who is going to be on our next episode to talk about his experiences. So everyone stick in and stay safe.
All right, y'all.
All
Yeah.
right.